All right, so this is something that I've seen circulating around, and it is, what is Andrew Wiggins' trade value? Well, first I want to throw some numbers at you, and then maybe we'll come to a conclusion of where he will and will not go. So here's a few nuggets. The obvious trade target, Andrew Wiggins, has failed to live up to expectations in Minnesota. Minnesota still shown flashes. Many things would click for him back in Canada. Well, no shit. If the Wolves already have buyer's remorse, then maybe there's a mega deal to be done, centering around Wiggins and Teague going to Toronto for Kyle Lowry, CJ Miles, and Pascal Siakam. This is one trade that I think is okay. I don't love it. That is for Toronto. I think that there should be some sort of conclusion that Andrew Wiggins going to Toronto is almost a foregone conclusion, because what Toronto needs right now, after seeing that the DeRozan, Dwayne Casey, Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, Jonas Valanciunas, who, my God, could have been traded for so much about 4 years ago. On top of that, the CJ Miles, OG Anunoby looks good, DeLon Wright looks good, Jakob Poeltl looks decent, although he looked incredibly lost in the playoffs. I think we have proven that the regular season and 59 wins north of the border is really cool for you to put your own team's name on the map. But unfortunately, and I'm sorry for all the Toronto Raptors fans, as long as some guy named LeBron James is still in the East, it is simply not happening. So on top of that, what do? You wanted this when Steve Nash was in the NBA. And we talked about this over and over and over and over again. And then there was even rumors like, oh, Tristan Thompson is looking really good in these finals. The Raptors should trade for him. Why? He's from Toronto. Excuse me, he's from Canada. I think he is from Toronto. He's from north of the border. So now what do you do if you are Toronto, knowing that you still have this waiting period of at least 3 years? I've said this many times on this medium at TYT Sports. You have a waiting period of 3+ years if LeBron James stays in the East, and now you have the Boston Celtics, who are incredibly loaded, where their bench could beat out some starters in the Eastern Conference. You go and get Andrew Wiggins in order to not only sell tickets, you could then have the Diddy song, I'm coming home. Like, you could have all of this as a huge promotion for, hey, we have a representative who is at the top of his game in the NBA. Let's bring him back to Toronto. It works out. It's totally cool. But you're going to have to depart. You're going to have to part with not one, but two players in order to get this done. Because Wiggins, although his contract extension of $148 million over 6+ years is going to kick in, I believe, after this season, you still got to give up one of your stars. The Minnesota Timberwolves have realized that Jeff Teague is not the answer, and he hit his ceiling in Atlanta, along with, you could say, when he was with Mike Budenholzer, Paul Millsap. That Atlanta Hawks team, let's just go in this direction for a second. That Atlanta Hawks team was the Toronto Raptors, overachieving in the regular season, thinking that they had the LeBron stopper in DeMarre Carroll, and then nothing materialized whatsoever. And what is the other similarity that they have? That's right, DeMarre Carroll played for both franchises. So, as I see it right now, Kyle Lowry or DeMar DeRozan, part with one of them. If I'm Minnesota, I ask for Kyle Lowry, and I do it. Because Jimmy Butler and Andrew Wiggins, although it is one stinking year, if you had to, gun to your head, if God forbid that happens, it's a terrible saying. If you had to pick between Jimmy Butler and Andrew Wiggins, who would you pick? It's obvious you'd go with Jimmy Butler, even though he is more of a veteran. So on top of that, there were a few other nuggets that I wanted to read. To confirm, by the way, according to John Krasinski of The Athletic, from what I gather, Wiggins doesn't have a huge amount of value on the market right now. To stand corrected, 5 years, $148 million, coming off a less than convincing fourth season in the league. I agree. The one area where I believe DeMar DeRozan unseats Andrew Wiggins, not in points. I think it's barely in rebounds and barely in assists. And Andrew Wiggins shot the ball from three-point range way better than DeMar DeRozan did. And DeMar DeRozan, if we do remember midseason, all the hype was about how he's having a career year from three. And then he shot 30% to finish the season. So if I were Minnesota, ask about Kyle Lowry. Great supporting cast there in Minnesota, where you would have Jimmy Butler, Karl-Anthony Towns, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan coming off the bench. Gorgui Dieng, you find a way to move him because the contract is terrible. So the first call I make is to Toronto, and the NBA and Toronto can hype the crap out of Andrew Wiggins going home. A few others that I saw, whether I like them or don't like them, we should go over them. Finding a way to trade Andrew Wiggins for Terry Rozier, absolutely positively 1,000,000% no, because the Boston Celtics already have 4 wings. Why would they trade for another wing? What they could get for Terry Rozier, if he has a better 2 to 3, maybe 4 games in the playoffs, is trading him for more value than just a guy like Andrew Wiggins. They have Jason Tatum, they have Jaylen Brown, they have Marcus Morris. Oh, and they have Gordon Hayward, who's coming back. So absolutely not. No. I wish I remembered who put these up. One that I did like, though, was the Brooklyn Nets, who are awful because of Billy King, and trading away pick after pick after pick after pick after pick, year after year after year after year. Trading D'Angelo Russell for Andrew Wiggins. Not something I love, but something that I think is decent. However, to play devil's advocate to this trade that I saw, can Jimmy Butler get along with D'Angelo Russell? 2 guys who are uber competitive, but seems like they would get on each other's skin over who gets the ball more often than not. So I like it. I don't love it. It would depend on 2 stars coexisting in one. One that I absolutely love is the Charlotte Hornets trading Kemba Walker for Andrew Wiggins in some sort of package. Kemba's going to be gone. To all Charlotte fans, NBA fans watching, he's getting out of Dodge. He had an incredible career at UConn, the step back Big East tournament against Pitt. I forget the dude's name with the dreads. An epic highlight that we'll always remember. On top of that, he has already beat out Del Curry for the number 1 on the list for points scored, Charlotte Hornets history. He's already beat him out, and he's still somewhat young. So what do? You get a little younger because Andrew Wiggins is better than Malik Monk. Andrew Wiggins is better than Marvin Williams. He's better than MKG. Motor. Drink. Every time you hear it at the draft. So trading Kemba Walker to get a little younger for Andrew Wiggins, maybe he'll develop and stay long term because you would inherit that contract that he would have. And then the one other one, of course, is DeMar DeRozan. Look, if we missed any, let us know. I'm open to all ideas. Tweet me, Strom. Subscribe to 2IT Sports. The content is 1,000,000% free. We'll see you soon.